Did you overcome your addiction?
For me personally, I always thought there was a mantra in Luton, yeah. Once a junkie, always a junkie. You're never going to change. You're always going to be a piece of shit. And that was the mantra of my life from young. Like, so when I talk about the bullying, yeah, I used to go home after being bullied and I'd feel different. Like, what's wrong with me? Why doesn't James get bullied? Why doesn't so-and-so get bullied? Why are they bullying me? What's wrong with me? So I internalize all of that. What's wrong with me? I've got a problem. So then parents was exactly the same. I've got a problem. It must be my fault. So I internalized all the stuff, and then eventually, when drugs come about, it freed me from all that. It was freedom from all that. Like I said, obviously, as an addict, it progressed to cannabis, to a bit of this, to a bit of that. So then it was like full bore. You're in hell now. It's just, yeah.
How did you actually get out of the addiction?
So I was on a methadone script for about 15 years. Going down to certain clinics in Luton Town Centre, and it was like, oh, have you used today? No. Why are you lying? What's going on? Having just bollocks conversation, because the reality of it was, man, all I could think of as an addict in my head when I was using was just, when am I going to get my next fix? The only time I wanted to engage with a professional was when you're paying me some money or you're giving me my methadone script. Yeah. Until then, like, people say to me, like, and when I tell people to be on drugs, yeah, and they say, oh, didn't you work? You know, didn't you get... Listen, being a junkie is a full-time job. If you ain't gouged out, you're on the hunt. If you ain't hunting, you're hitting. And that's a full-time job. I was knackered. And the reason I got clean was because I went to somewhere in Luton and they offered me rehab. And I thought it was a joke at first. I thought rehabs is somewhere like rich people go to and I can't afford it. Why would somebody want to invest in me, man? I'm going to die a junkie, man. Why would you want to pay that for me? I'm not worth it. I didn't have any self-worth at the time. And I thought, fuck it, I've got nothing else. I tried to get clean. I tried to commit suicide on many occasions. Just couldn't do it. Until one day they said that I got rehab, and I thought, fuck it, I'm done. What else? Because if you don't put me in rehab, I'm gonna jump off a bridge. I've had enough. You know, when you're spiritually that dead,
You're at rock bottom.
You either get, yeah, 100%. And you know what? Everyone says rock bottom's a bad thing, but in my experience, rock bottom, after that, there's nowhere else to go. The only way after rock bottom is up. And if someone give me a handout to say rehab, I'm like, I'm in, I'm all in, and that was it. But they offered it to me in Stroud, man. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go anyway. I don't really care. And then when I got to rehab, they were like, listen, if you want to stay clean and you want a new way of life, change everything. That's friends, that's places, that's people, that's money, that's mindset, that's perspective. That's so many changes going on. But the thing was, I was desperate anyway. So whatever you told me I was going to do.
Yeah.
If someone had said to me, go and run up the hill 10 times. All right, cool. Do this, do that.
You were open to it.
Mate, 100%. There was nothing else. There was nothing else. So.
It sounds like you were like just mentally, emotionally like broken.
Yeah.
Like you were just broken.
I mean, when I was in rehab, yeah, it's mad, yeah, like, because of like my history, like I just said with the guys at East West and all that, we come from a mantra like, big men don't cry, you never show your feelings, everything's a mask. And when I was in rehab, yeah, the first 4 weeks, I wore that mask, angry. I was known as Angry Dave. Some people now are still in their phones as Angry Dave. Because anger was my mask.
Yeah.
I will never show you how vulnerable I am or upset I am. I will give you anger first. And hopefully, you won't touch me because I'm too angry. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I wore anger as a mask for a long time. And then when people started talking in groups about some stuff that happened to them, and I was like, wow, me too. Shit, I'm not alone in this. Like, oh my God, there's other people out there that's been through some same stuff. Because the whole time I was in it, I never believed, I thought it was all my fault. I thought I was the only one. No one understands me. No one gets me. I'm really different. And then when I heard people start being honest and talking about their stories and whatnot, I was like, oh my God. And then after that week, the next month in rehab, I spent fucking every group crying my eyes out.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
It's like a light bulb moment.
Yeah, I was about to say it was embarrassing. That's my ego talking.
Man. Yeah. It's a good thing.
So, and I learned to give myself permission to cry. Because what I've learned about crying is, and I know like a lot of people watch the Andrew Tate stuff these days, innit? And they're like, you know, masculinity, men don't cry. And I'll tell you what.
We all do cry.
Yeah,
and
mate,
a masculine man will cry, but they might not just show it to you. Yeah, everyone cries, man. Everyone, that's...
Yeah, 100%.
That's the bad stigma about things, though. Like, everyone's got their own way of life. So you, like you said, you need to do what's right for you.
Yeah.
If this works for you, you need to do that to keep yourself.
100%.
Not what a next man says, oh, men don't cry. But
because everyone's different at the end of the day.
Yeah. But I think the best thing that rehab taught me was, it taught me about myself, it taught me about thoughts and feelings, it taught me about emotions. Everything that I'd stuffed down for most of my life, I got to think, fucking hell, there was an explosion at first, but then I got to contain it, I got to learn about it, I got to heal some stuff, with support, obviously. And it was like, cool, so if I need to grab a cry, I'm going to. Sometimes when George is fighting, I get really overwhelmed and emotional because George is my boy and I have to pop off just quickly. Did we have a minute?
Yeah.
And then I'll be back out. And I give permission to myself for that.
Yeah, you figured out, like, your whole journey, you figured out a way and what works for you. To say, like, this is how and you understand yourself, which is the most important thing with everyone. As long as you understand yourself and you know it works for you, then that's all you can ask for.
But I think as well, when I'm coaching certain people and new people come into my
domain.
Yes, come into my sort of area, it's like, my intent of my heart, and my nature for people is to see the best. I want for people what I've had for myself, which is support, understanding, love, compassion, and kind. However, I have these masks. I don't trust many people. So if you're new, I need to throw a few things at you to see if I can trust you, to see if I'm safe with you. Now, some people might think Dave's just arrogant, he might be inappropriate, or he might be aggressive. A lot of people say to me, like, you know, you're really unapproachable, or you look angry, or you look pissed off. And I can't change that. I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that. Because originally, it's like I started to get a complex. Again, like, what's wrong with me? What's going on? Why are people, what are people saying? I'm like, what? And I'm like, do you know what? So when people understand my history, where I come from, and all the junky stories that go on, I'm not going to glorify my sins. However, a lot went on. So sometimes you might see me contemplating. You might see me in a zone where I'm trying to work something out. And it might come across in my face. Or sometimes I wear my trauma as wounds. So a lot of the time I'm walking around in my stuff, thinking about stuff, just wounded. And people perceive that as unapproachable, rude, he's this, he's that. But it's not. Like I said, you know, people like George, Rob, Mark, they all get me, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No one dare take the pee out of me in case. But like, them not take the piss out of me all the time. And it's what I need. Because I don't want to never take myself too seriously.
Yeah.
Never.
But they've earned the respect to you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
you have to earn the
100%,
respect to do something like that. You can't just go and take the piss. We were speaking about it on the way up here, funny enough, about certain people and like that. And you can't just go take the piss out of everyone. You have to be with that guy or know that guy and earn that guy's respect.
Yeah, play with them a little bit. See if you can trust them. See if they're cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, see if they can hold it down if you're ever in trouble. And that's like something I've learned now. Like, not everyone that comes into I know, like, as a coach, productive, positive, help people, but I've got history, I've got trauma, and sometimes if I get a bad vibe off someone, my walls go up.
Yeah.
Like, some people say I'm unapproachable. Well, you need to keep coming so I can see where you're at. Because if I feel a way about somebody, I'm not going to give you the best of me. You're going to get that, hold on, whoa, what's going on here? Not aggressive, but just firm. I might give you a stern face. Okay. See you tomorrow. Yeah? All right.